Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Listening to Your Gut podcast. Whoa, it is episode 100. Holy freaking cow. Episode 100. We are in the triple digits. And I say we because this is our podcast. Like, we are doing this together. You are giving me ideas on what topics you want to hear. You're giving me suggestions on who you want on the podcast. We are in this together. This podcast is for you just as much as it is for me, but it's ultimately mostly for you. And I just so thank you for tuning in, for listening, for sharing this with others. It's just been what an incredible ride, and we're not done. Like this podcast is going to continue to go on for the foreseeable future. So I'm just ecstatic about that. So just thank you, thank you for being here, for being a supportive listener, for being a friend. I so appreciate everyone who connects with me from the podcast, and so many of you have formed a relationship with. And it's incredible. It's absolutely friggin' incredible. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, and happy 100th episode. Holy freaking cow. I alluded to, if you follow me on Instagram, I alluded to the fact that there was going to be a special surprise. And um, if you, nobody guessed it, but if you, now that the secret is out, right? Because I'm about to tell you, you can see me, right? So now the podcast is going to be on YouTube as well. So if you want to see me recording, you want to see my guests who I interview, you will now be able to see that to the entirety of each of these episodes, because it's gonna be on YouTube. We got us a YouTube channel. Yeah. So I'm super pumped about that. Starting with episode 100, and for the foreseeable future, we're gonna be on YouTube. So definitely come on over, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss an episode, so you could see me, you can see my guests, all the things. Just super freaking pumped. The information on how to subscribe, how to connect to the YouTube channel will be, of course, in the show notes. So just go ahead and head down to the show notes in the podcast platform that you are listening to, and then click on that link and head on over to YouTube so you can see this. So, woo, super, super pumped. No, like I said, nobody guessed it, by the way. So, I guess that's just how it be. Nobody guessed. So there's no one that wins the special surprise that I was going to give, which, to be honest, I didn't know what that was going to be. I was just going to create it off the fly. But no worries, because nobody guessed it. Several of you guessed, but nobody got it. And however, there is going to be a giveaway for the 100th episode. So make sure that you are staying tuned on Instagram, because I'll be revealing the deets on how to enter for that giveaway this week. And some really good things, that some really cool products that you are going to get if you are the winner of the giveaway. So super easy to enter. Like I said, all the information for the giveaway is going to be on Instagram. So make sure you're following me on Instagram at Kelly_Bluth. And that way you'll get all the deets on how to enter the giveaway. So now that all that's out of the way, we've celebrated, woo woo, we're ready to dive into today's episode. So today's episode is titled Reflecting on the Top 5 Things That I've Learned to Support My Health and Wellness. Okay, and that is going to change over time, right? But I really felt like in this episode, I wanted to just reflect on really like almost 2 years that we've been together, right? Through this podcast journey, and even longer, I've been on my health and wellness journey. But I wanted to just kind of compile the 5 top things that have really been beneficial and really have supported me in my health and healing journey over the past several years. And so I thought, what better way to kick off the 100th episode, the next era, if you will, of this podcast, with my top 5s, right? So I'm gonna chat with you about those things. If you have any thoughts on them, if you want to chat with me about them on Instagram, DM me, chat with me in the Facebook group, DM me there. Any and all of the places. because I would love to hear your thoughts on this as well and what you think. And if any of these things, if you're feeling like any of these things sparked something in you in terms of something that you really want to start focusing on or maybe committing to. So yeah, so here we go. We're gonna dive right on in to number one. So number one, and these are in no order. I just listed out. I just was thinking about this the other night, and I was like, I'm gonna list my top five. So again, in no particular order, I'm gonna just share my top five things that I've learned to really help support my overall health and wellness and healing. So, my first one is listening to my body, of course, right? That has been something that I had not done up until really, quite honestly, up until the pandemic. Um, I would not listen to my body in terms of what it needed nourishment wise. I would not listen to my body in terms of what it needed movement wise. I would not listen to my body in terms of what it meant, what it needed spiritually and emotionally. Just really holistically, I was not listening to my body. And once I started to really realize, as I've shared many times, to, on at speaking events, on other of my friends' podcasts, on other platforms, I have shared quite a bit that, I really um I really struggled with figuring out who I was for the longest time. And through the pandemic, I was able to just kind of, I don't want to say start over, but like just really dig deep into who do I want to be? Who am I? What do I stand for? What lights me up? What inspires me? What am I passionate about? And through all of that, I developed this intense desire to really study and focus on health and wellness. And so, first and foremost, that was to help myself. But then ultimately, it became this bigger thing that I was like, I love to teach. Teaching is like my purpose in this life, to teach in multiple capacities. And to be able to teach other women how to help themselves heal, go through the healing process. I was like, man, like this lights me up, right? So, going going down the path of health and wellness and, getting certified in holistic nutrition, working with a certified holistic nutritionist, working with a naturopath, functional medicine practitioners, like all the things um, really helped me to become more aware of what I was putting in my body and really hearing what my body was saying in terms of the response to it, right? When I have too much sugar, I get like a really bad headache, almost like I don't drink coffee, but almost like people who are withdrawing from coffee, like caffeinated coffee and they get the headaches for a couple of days, like that's how my body responds to sugar overload, right? And it never used to be that way until I started to revamp my whole way of eating, my nutrition plan for myself. So that has been incredible. I can't speak today. The other thing that comes to mind too is, I mean, I'm not going to go into every single aspect, but another thing that comes to mind is like I never knew about the phases of my cycle, like never friggin' knew, right? Like I was introduced to, what my period was, obviously when I had a period, and my mom went through that with me. Like gave me books and things that were kid friendly that I could read and gain information from, and she of course helped me through that process too. But like she didn't even know the phases of her cycle. None of us did, right? Until I think like this new age, this era of like know more about your body, do more for your body, right? To help it, to support it, to love and care for it. And I'm here for that. And that knowledge has been transformative for me, not only nutrition wise and understanding what my body needs and what it doesn't throughout each phase of my cycle, but also the movement, right? I used to be someone who was a hardcore runner, like all the time. It didn't matter what time of the month, right? I was always running. And now I hardly ever run. Like I love to run, and I have some runs that I'm committed to, that I've signed up to do with friends in the foreseeable future, but I am not out there running every day. The last time I ran was probably over winter break, which was a solid couple months ago. So not very recently. Um, it's not to say I won't ever do it again. Clearly, I'm going to be doing it, but it's just I know my body now, and I know that it doesn't need to be running all the time. So, that's been incredible, just being able to tap into my intuitive cues and listen to my body and really understand what my body needs has been absolutely incredible and really life changing for me, quite honestly. Because this stuff was, I never knew before, because I had either, shoved it down to the point where I couldn't even draw awareness to it, couldn't even, recognize that that was what was going on. My body was trying to tell me things. And or I just didn't know what to look for, right? It was, maybe I was feeling these things, but I just didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know, right? So that's the first thing, right? Was and the first thing that has really supported my health and wellness is, listening to my body in all facets, right? Movement, phases of my cycle, nutrition, emotional wellness, spiritual wellness. I've tapped into those things a lot more. So grateful, in every sense of that word, for what I've done for myself in that department. The second thing is, drinking more fluids, and I'm still working on that. That's a work in progress for me, because I'm a full-time teacher currently. It's hard to get all the water in, because I know that if I drink too much water, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom, and I only have certain times throughout the day that I can go, right? So that's really hard. It's easier for me to get my water intake in when I'm home, but not as much when I'm at school. So, in the summer, I do really well with it. And then I start to slack off when the school year starts, just because, like I said, um, but I'm noticing that when I don't drink enough water, uh, there are a lot of detriments that come from that, right? That I feel worse because of it, right? First of all, it's not allowing my body to filter out and flush out the toxins, the waste, all of that, what have you, right? It's not helping me to make stools more easily to pass, um, and it's not helping me just in general to heal my body. But even furthermore, I'm noticing physical effects of that. There have been several times where I have tutored, and because I haven't had enough water, I have gotten like physically tired, like to the point where like I almost want to shut my eyes and just like take a nap. And that can happen when you're severely dehydrated. And then like don't condone that, right? Like I want you to be drinking water, clearly. I should have been drinking more water, clearly, during those instances. But um that can happen. Like when you are dehydrated, you can end up feeling these really awful effects, being, having headaches, maybe feeling nauseous. Like I said, also, feeling very tired, very fatigued, very sluggish. And those are not things that any of us want to feel, right? We want to feel energized. We want to feel, optimal. And giving our bodies water, the water that it needs, because our bodies are mostly water. We need to be rehydrating our body, refueling our body, constantly, like throughout the day. So drinking more fluids has definitely been something high on my list and on my radar constantly. See, I can't speak today. So yeah, I that's something, that I definitely have realized in the past couple of years, that is something that is crucial for me and my overall wellness. And I think really anybody could benefit from making sure that they're hydrated. So that would be number two. Number three is not overcommitting. Um, you know, Making sure that I don't overcommit. Um, and that one's hard for me because I'm a recovering people pleaser. And if you resonate with that, then you feel me on that, right? So, that's hard for me to to release some of the things that I know don't align with me. And I have done that. And trust me, it's hard. It really is, because you feel like you're letting people down. But honestly, when you look back at it, like, you were letting people down to begin with by committing to something that you weren't fully committed to, that wasn't fully aligned, right? And you're really letting yourself down, because you're putting yourself in a position where you don't, that's not really lighting you up. That's not really something that you're driven to do. And ultimately that's, going to impact you, as well as, the people involved, because you're not going to be able to give your all. You're not going to be able to be your full self with those people or in those situations. So that has been really beneficial for me, is to start really focusing on, like, what is a true 110% yes, and what is an absolute no, right? um, there's an incredible book that, for the life of me, I don't have it in front of me, but my girl Megan um, sent it to me. I won a contest that she was having on her own podcast, with the particular author of this book, and it just recently came out at the beginning of 2023, and we're getting ready to read it as a book club, my girl gang book club. So I'm super excited for that. But that would be definitely a book I would recommend. I'll put it in the show notes, so that if you want to check that book out, you can. It's not a super long read. It's not a super thick book, but yeah, I would highly recommend that. Even though I haven't even started to read it, I know it's going to be beneficial for myself, and I know for many others too. So yeah, boundaries and not overcommitting um, would be number 3. And number 4 would be rest. Shout it from the rooftops. I really can't speak today. Shout it from the rooftops. Rest is important. And I think we, um, underestimate the value of rest, of a friggin' nap, right? So rest has been a necessary part of my healing. Rest is a necessary part of anyone's healing journey. And I just want to, say that right here, right now, out in the open. Your body needs rest, right? And it doesn't always have to be a nap, but it has to be rest in terms of, like, you are allowing your body to just be, right? To just be present in the moment, and to not have to do anything, right? Other than just breathe and be a living being, right? That is so powerful. And like I said, especially someone on a healing journey such as myself, that that is key, right? Because your body needs time to just process. If you're constantly going and doing all the time, when does your body have time to process? It doesn't, right? And that's why the healing journey takes so friggin' long, is because you're not allowing your body to have the time that it needs to do what it needs in order to start that healing journey, in order to continue to commit to that healing journey for itself. So that, like I said, is truly underrated. Um, and I mean, I can't shout it from the rooftops enough. Rest has got to be one of the biggest things that I have to prioritize in my life. And I'm doing a pretty good job of it right now. I'm really, focusing on making sure that I'm doing that for myself. And that, when things come up, back to the boundaries again, when things come up, I'm like, you know what? I would love to do that, but I just don't physically have time, right? And maybe even if I do have some time in my schedule, I'm not trying to cram every single block, every single second with something, because that's not allowing my body to have what it needs, which is that time to truly process and just to be. We need to have that time. Not all the time, but we need to have that on a regular basis. So rest was number 4. And then finally, number 5 is to breathe. Okay. Breathing has become something really crucial for me as well. I mean, all of these are clearly, but breathing is something that I'm really working on right now. And, I'm about to be bringing other people into my life to support me with, coaching me on this, and guiding me through this, because for the longest time, was not, and still am not totally breathing correctly all the time. There are times when I am super stressed that I will just almost not breathe. Like my stomach clenches and I just kind of freeze up and I don't it's a very shallow breath, if a breath at all, right? That is not good. It's not good for the body. And I I know, I know that's not. And I, for the longest time, was not aware of what I was doing. But now, again, to my point of like listening to my body, understanding what's going on, I'm realizing that some of these things have been going on, and I need to start addressing them, right? And I need to start focusing on how I can keep my breath consistent, right? I'm reading this awesome book, Breath, with my book club currently, and I'm really focused on being intentional with keeping my mouth closed, especially when I'm sleeping and just breathing out my nose, but also when I'm doing things, with the exception of talking, when I'm doing things, if it doesn't require me to speak, keeping my mouth closed and just breathing in and out of my nose is science has proven that that is the best way to be breathing. So yeah, breath has just become this really key player in my healing journey because as I've shared recently, my healing journey has gotten to the point where I have eradicated all of the gut dysbiosis that I originally had. I didn't have a whole lot of it, but I did have some, and that stuff's gone. But I'm still from time to time feeling certain things. I'm still from time to time feeling the bloating that I had, with the gut dysbiosis. And I have done all of these tests, and they all show. I mean, I've done, as I've shared before, I've done the capsule endoscopy where I swallowed a camera that was in like a pill capsule, and I swallowed that, and that went through my entire, you know, bodily functions, right? Went through all of my organ, or not all of my organs, but it went through my large and small intestine, came out, um, in my stool, and there was it was clean as a whistle, like nothing going on in there, right? So that brings me back to like, okay, Kelly, like your nervous system needs some love, needs some tender love and care, right? And so that is breathing is one of those key players that I brought in to support me in really helping to re-regulate my nervous system and just to allow my body to come back to more of an equilibrium and to feel safe. I realize that I feel safe on the outside, but my body on the inside does not feel safe, and that's what I've got to get to. Is I've got to get to the point where my body on the inside feels safe, so that I can see the benefits not only on the outside but also on the inside too. So that's where I'm gonna land this plane today. Is with those five top things that I've learned over the course of the last several years through my health and wellness journey. And I know that this is going to evolve over time, but I just think it's really cool in the 100th episode for me to come in and share, my top five. Maybe you resonate with some of them, and if you do, I'd love to hear about that. And yeah, so just I'm going to list them off again real quick for you. So number one was listening to my body. Number two was drinking more fluids. Number three was don't overcommit. Number four was rest. And number four is breathing. So again, I am so incredibly honored to be on this journey with you forever and ever, for however long I am able to do this. I don't see an end to this anytime soon. I just absolutely love coming on and sharing with you each and every week. You're a blessing to me. If you don't know that, you are. And I just thank you for showing up. I thank you for being the incredible you that you are. By showing up and listening to this podcast, you don't realize how incredibly beneficial that is for yourself. Maybe you do, but my guess is probably you haven't thought of that. And I just want you to know that, like, by listening to this podcast, when I share things, which is quite often, that I'm learning and I'm sharing with you to support you, like, your you're learning stuff that is going to help you, right? You're hearing from incredible guest speakers that are going to change your mind, that are going to connect with you, that are going to, resonate with some of the things that you hear them say. And I just can't thank you enough for putting your health and wellness, you know, in the driver's seat, and listening to this podcast to help you learn, some new things, to learn from me, to learn from others. I think this is just an incredible platform, and again, I'm truly honored to do this for you, to serve you in this incredible way. So thank you so much. I hope you have an absolutely terrific week and a marvelous Monday ahead of you. And I just thank you so much. I am just truly blessed. I love you so much, and we'll chat next week.